Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This is Eric from Tech. I've gotten my hands on a gaming phone that could potentially give the ROG Phone 5 a run for its money. I've got the Nubia Red Magic 6 here, and this is the Pro version. So let's see if Nubia has what it takes to dethrone the ROG phone. So the version I have here is the Chinese Tencent version. You can see the Tencent Games logo over there. So this is similar to the ROG phone, which also has the Tencent Games logo on the box, and it's the Tencent Games Edition. What this means is that this year, there is a collaboration between Tencent Games and Nubia, so I have high hopes for this phone. At this point, I'm not really concerned about this phone being a Chinese version because Nubia provides an official method to install the global ROM on all of their RedMagic phones. So it started out with the RedMagic 3, I had the RedMagic 3S, and I was also able to do it on my RedMagic 5G. So let's go ahead and unbox the phone. Okay. So it's kind of a matte finish on the box and it seems to slide out. So you've got the RedMagic logo over there, a lot bigger than last year's. And as usual, the Nubia box is different from the regular phone boxes that we're used to. So the boxes are oriented vertically, and this one is more of a square shape. Okay, here's the phone, guys. Let's set it aside for now, and let's see what else is in the box. And as usual, it's set in compartments. So the first big compartment over here, this has the SIM ejector tool. Oh, cool. And it has a jelly case, and there's a big hole right in the middle of it. So I believe this is for cooling, so at least when you've got the case on, it's not going to interfere with the heat dissipation on the back of the phone. Okay, and let's see what else is in here. Tencent Games manual. It's all in Chinese, can't really understand it, so let's put that aside. Okay, and I believe this is the charging cable. You can tell there's an icon there on the top. And this is the red cable, and it's a USB-C to USB-C. And of course, you've got the charging brick. Now I know that the Chinese version of the phone has the 120-watt charging brick out of the box, and it seems to be the case here, guys. This is 120 watts. And I guess that's it. That's all you get in the box. So let's set all these aside and turn on the phone. Alright, so let's open up the phone. To be honest, it looks like a car from the top, but it is pretty different. So looking at the phone, I know that this is a gaming phone. Some of you might like it, some of you might not, but kind of like the look of this year's Red Magic 6. And like the ROG Phone 5, it has Tencent Games written at the back, so Red Magic, Tencent Games. And instead of Republic of Gamers, because that's an ASUS thing, we've got Powered by Nubia here at the top. So let's turn it on, guys. So since this is the Chinese version, you've only got a couple of Chinese options and English. So English United Kingdom, English United States. I'll usually pick English United States. And like last year's model, this phone has an in-display fingerprint scanner. So let's set it up. And these are the default themes you can choose from. I'll pick that one. And I've already got an update on the phone. I'll probably do it later. So turn off the phone. Let's test the fingerprint scanner. Pretty fast, guys. The display is a 6.8-inch AMOLED, but no mention if the display was sourced from Samsung like on the ROG Phone 5. The Red Magic 6 Pro is playing the numbers game here, guys. It actually came up with a display that supports 165Hz refresh rate. And it also has an adaptive refresh rate mode, similar to what you've got on the Samsung phones. And that actually changes the refresh rate depending on what's being displayed on the screen. So it can actually go from 30Hz all the way to 165Hz. So if I go to display here, guys, you can see there's 60Hz, 90Hz, 120, 165. So if you've gotten used to 120Hz refresh rate, I don't think most people will notice the difference between 120 and 165. But of course, there is a big jump if you're gonna come from a 60Hz refresh rate phone. And this year, the RedMagic 6 and 6 Pro that I have over here has a multi-touch sampling rate of 360Hz, while the single-touch sampling rate is 500Hz. This means faster response times during gaming, and it is HDR10 capable with a max peak brightness of 630 nits. And of course, this display is Full HD Plus with a resolution of 2400 by 1080. And I guess I'm a bit let down with the protection on the display. The ROG Phone 5 came with the Gorilla Glass Victus, while this one is still using the older Gorilla Glass 6. So let's talk about the build and design next. Just like last year's model, the back is also glass. And I'm not sure what material is being used for the center part, because with the case, it actually exposes that part. So I would assume that there is some cooling mechanism at this part of the phone to let the heat dissipate, which is why you've got the case designed like so. And one change that I've noticed on the phone is that I've got only the power button here on the right, while your volume buttons are on the left. On the RedMagic 5G from last year, you've got all the buttons on the right side, and the left side is pretty much empty except for that fan vent and your accessories. Going as far back as the RedMagic 3S, this one also has just the accessory port here and all the buttons here on the right side. You've got the power and the volume, and you've even got the fan vent here on the right side, so your left side is pretty much empty. And one aspect of the phone that I really hope that Nubia would change is placement of the downward firing speaker. So if you play games in landscape mode, you tend to cover up this part of the phone and you're gonna get sound that's muffled. This problem actually isn't present on the ROG Phone 5 because you've got dual front firing speakers. So even if you play in landscape mode, you're not going to be covering up the speakers on the top and the bottom. But let's see how the phone sounds later on in my speaker test. The phone is dual SIM, so let's take out the SIM tray. So you've got the SIM over here, SIM 1 and SIM 2. And there's a bit of a rubber stopper on the SIM tray. The phone is not IP rated and I'm not expecting it to because it still has that internal fan, so there is an entry point for water. So don't get this phone wet, guys. And of course, since it only has a dual SIM, there is no room for a micro SD card. So talking about the chipset next, the phone rocks the hottest chip from Qualcomm, which is the Snapdragon 888, and is of course 5G ready. The model I have here is the 12GB and 256 storage, so it has LPDDR5 RAM and UFS 3.1 storage. The phone also supports the latest Wi-Fi 6E, so if you plan to upgrade your home network anytime soon, then you know that your phone is going to be able to maximize that. Talking about the cameras next, just like on the ROG Phone 5, photography is not one of the main selling points of this phone. It is a decent triple camera setup. It has a 64 megapixel wide, 8 megapixel ultra wide, and 2 megapixel macro. A telephoto lens instead of the macro would have been a better choice, to be honest. The selfie camera is pretty low in today's standard, only coming in at 8 megapixels. But I'd assume that most of us would be buying this phone not for the cameras. So let's talk about the battery and the charging next. The battery on the RedMagic 6 is 5050 mAh, though on the RedMagic 6 Pro that I've got over here, it's slightly smaller at 4500 mAh. The only difference here is that on the regular RedMagic 6, it's limited to just 66 watts of quick charging, while on the RedMagic 6 Pro, like I showed you guys earlier on the video, this has a staggering 120 watts fast charging. Nubia is actually claiming that it can go from 0 to 50 in just 5 minutes, and a full charge in just 17 minutes. Those are pretty insane times, guys, so I'll be doing a separate charging test for you, and I'm going to be confirming if that time is actually accurate. So talking about the speakers and the sound next, the RedMagic 6 Pro still retains the stereo setup that it's been using all the way from the RedMagic 3 days. So good news, guys, this still has the headphone jack. So for those who still use wired headsets, you're still going to be able to use them with this phone. So I know that this is the Chinese ROM or the Chinese version, guys, so you're not going to have the Play Store pre-installed on the phone. Though good news here is that starting from the RedMagic 5G, Nubia has started allowing you to install the Play Store without the need to root your phone or install a custom ROM. So with the RedMagic 3S, there is no straightforward way to install the Google Play Store or the Google Play services. Here in this phone, you just need to go to the default App Store and search for Play, and the results will show you that you can install the Google Play Store. So let's install that. So what this actually tells us is that all the required Play services are already installed on the phone. You just need to install the Play Store in order to install your apps. Okay, let's start, guys. I actually like the sound of this phone, guys. Let me get the ROG Phone 5 real quick for comparison. Pretty close, guys, but in my ears the ROG Phone 5 is still the better sounding phone. The low sound a bit better and there's more of a hint of bass on that phone. But let me know in the comment section down below which phone you think sounds the best. So talking about the phone's additional features, the RedMagic 6 Pro is cooled by ICE or ICE 6.0. Nubia combines 7 different heat transfer and cooling methods to keep the Snapdragon 888 in check, because it is one very hot chip. I'll follow up this video with an end-to-end sustained performance test similar to what I did with the recently released ASUS ROG Phone 5. So let's see how hot this phone can get and if the internal fan that it has can keep up with that heat. And of course, the shoulder triggers is one of the mainstays of the RedMagic lineup. It makes a return here, and Nubia is saying that it has a 400Hz touch sampling rate. So that means your touches will register immediately, especially during intense gaming sessions. Gamespace. Gamespace is still one of the best tools on this phone for setting up your games for maximum performance. So it's a matter of just tapping the add button and picking which application or game that you want to be controlled by the gaming center. So it pretty much does the same thing as the Armoury Crate on the ROG Phone 5. I'm not sure if you can hear it, guys, but the cooling fan is turned on. Let me put it up closer so see if you can hear it. And there is something new here on the phone that will be very helpful for those who like to leave games running on their phone. You've got Nubia's own version of bypass charging, and it's called charge separation. And of course, you can turn on the RGB LED strip. Let's turn it over. RGBs are actually limited now to just the small strips here in the top and the bottom. Now if you compare it with the RedMagic 5G, the full RedMagic text here and the RedMagic logo, and on the RedMagic 3S, it has that RGB strip that runs almost the length of the phone. And of course, you've still got the RGB logo that lights up here at the bottom. So which RGB setup are you a fan of, guys? And one of the major differences that the RedMagic 6 Pro has is that the internal fan that it has now runs at an impressive 20,000 RPM. Though that 20,000 RPM is limited only to the RedMagic 6 Pro. The RedMagic 6 only maxes out at 18,000 RPM. Now if you compare that with last year's model, which is the Nubia Red Magic 5G, the fan on this phone only maxes out at 15,000 RPM. So I'm eager to test if that faster fan speed equates to lower temperatures, because the RedMagic 5G did get a tendency to get pretty hot. Knowing that the Snapdragon 888 can literally burn off your fingers, then I'm hoping that that internal fan and the cooling solution that Nubia has put in place will actually play a big part in keeping the phone's temperatures down. Now in terms of accessories, the Nubia Red Magic lineup doesn't have as many accessories as the ASUS ROG lineups, but I managed to get my hands on the RedMagic's Dual-Core Cooler. So stay tuned to the channel. I'm going to be doing a separate test with and without the cooler attached. Now, is the RedMagic 6 Pro worth the upgrade? If you're coming from the RedMagic 3 or the RedMagic 3S, The Snapdragon 888 has a big enough jump in performance to justify upgrading to this phone, but if you're already on the RedMagic 5G, then the actual performance difference is pretty small. One of my main complaints with the RedMagic lineup or with Nubia is that the software updates is not one of their strong points. On the RedMagic 3S, just to get Android 10, I had to go back to the Chinese ROM. But unfortunately, going back to the Chinese ROM meant that I'm going to lose out on the Google Play Store. I had to root the phone first before I was able to install the Google Play services. So if you guys are also interested in installing the global ROM on the RedMagic 6 Pro, it's just a matter of waiting for Nubia to release the ROM to the public. And I'll come up with that video as well so I can guide you on how best do it so you won't break your phone. So I guess that's it for my quick unboxing video, guys. Let me know if the RedMagic 6 Pro is one piece of tech that you want to get. But until then, a sub would be massively appreciated. Please like and subscribe, hit that bell icon notification, and see you all in my next one.